Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about the finale of Batman 3 Jokers. And it was a DC Black Label book that was written by Jeff Johns and drawn beautifully by Jason Fabok. And it was a book that was hyped for 4 years. We should have got this book 4 years ago, but now we're getting the finale today. It came out and stuff like that. But reading the story, it was kind of one of those pointless stories. Um, don't get me wrong. I think it was because our hype for it was really high, and there's a lot of things in DC that happened before the book was being released, but it was one of those kind of like, okay, so the joke was that we'll never know who the Joker really is, but hey, let's take what the Killing Joke happened, which is kind of the origin, but not really the origin. But hey, you can take it or leave it if you want to. Like, what the hell was that? We never really got an answer for the three Jokers themselves. So it was kind of like, what was the purpose of it? But don't get me wrong, I prefer this story over most of current comic books that are coming out today. At least it has some thought and effort into it. It's just that I think the hype was so high from it or whatever. But if it was me, we would extend this book out a little bit further than that, because it feels like 3 books, it feels like it's not enough to me. It feels like there was a lot of stuff still missing out of there, but it kind of did at the end of the day kind of feel pointless. Like, oh, now you're telling me Batman knew from the beginning of his time when he met Joker. He knew who he really was. He hid his family away from everybody. Jason just kind of killed one of the Jokers, and we're not gonna really talk about it and stuff like that. Um, Barbara and Jason has a fling that makes absolutely no sense. It's on that borderline of that Batman Killing Joke movie where they had Batman and Batgirl sleeping together for no reason. Why do we keep doing this to Barbara Gordon? At this point, somebody go and paralyze this girl back again and make her Oracle, because the damage you guys keep doing to her as Batgirl is terrible. Like, this girl needs to get away from the Batgirl mantle. I've seen terrible results of her being Batgirl more so than I see positives of her being Oracle. She is way better as Oracle or whatever. But my thing is, if you're going to traumatize Batman and Jason in the comic book, you should have went with Batgirl as well too. I'm sorry, I don't care that people don't like what happened to her in Killing Joke, but it was a pivotal moment. I'm sorry, crime fighting sucks, criminal sucks, but we can't keep trying to sugarcoat things just because it's sensitivity to people or whatever. Things happen to women, things happen to men, but if they're in a city full of crime, or if they work in some kind of superhero thing, you should know that things are going to happen. So it's kind of funny when you hear people talking about, I can't believe they would do something like this to Barbara or whatever because she's a woman, or the fact that she is the daughter of the Commissioner Gordon. She was always going to be in danger, you dum dums. So why take away something that was traumatic for her? She overcame it, became a better hero, just to regress her back to Batgirl because people didn't feel comfortable. Some people didn't feel comfortable with her. But my thing is, it didn't even feel like a Joker story. It felt more like Batman, Jason, and Barbara having a family outing, dealing with the traumatic trauma that the Joker gave them. Like, okay, I guess so. That was the whole point of us having follow up comics that dealt with the death and rebirth of Jason Todd. Barbara Gordon creating the Birds of Prey, joining the Suicide Squad for a bit and whatever and stuff like that. Batman, getting more darker until Tim Drake came. Like, why now? And I understand all of this is a follow up from Dark Side War and then Doomsday Clock, but at the same time, I know that now in present continuity, the New 52 doesn't exist anymore. Barely. A lot of the stuff doesn't account for anything because of the fact that Dr. Matt hadn't rebooted the universe at the end of Doomsday Clock. So we know majority of the stuff that happened in New 52 don't exist anymore. So I know that's kind of one of those little things. And then Dan DiDio came in, screwed up whatever Jeff Johns was doing with Rebirth because this book should have been out a long time ago. And then Doomsday Clock was supposed to be a year into Rebirth future, and it never really came because of all of the things that happened with the whole DC stuff going on. I mean, luckily it's a black label book, so we know that they might take some of this stuff in and might not take some of the stuff out of continuity or in continuity wise. But it's just kind of weird that, you know, Jason and Batgirl asked him, hey, you know who the Joker is? If I did, I would tell you. And then you got him at the end of the story, oh, Alfred, I been knew who he was and stuff like that. It's not important though. What? Why? Why is it not important? I mean, shouldn't the Bat family have the right to that knowledge? And then here we go with the whole Joker romanticizing Batman crap. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a funny little thing when every once in a while you hint that little thing, but we already did that in the Death of the Family, you know, and in Joker Endgame. You know, how many times are we gonna have to reiterate the fact that Joker seems like he has a little weird hard-on affection for Batman? We get it. He's his chaos. We didn't need a beautifully drawn book to tell us that. We kind of already got it. You know, I would have preferred them going into something more deeper, like how did Joker create the other two Jokers and stuff like that, because it really does seem like the comedian, no, not the comedian, but the criminal, the comedian, Jesus Christ, you know the other one. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right here. My brain just really like fried for a second. But how in the world are we talking about these other Jokers who actually seem to like have like this memory of them doing terrible things to Batman, Jason, and Barbara, but now you're saying that the Joker really did this plan just to mess with Batman so he can be his pain and stuff like that, because he got him to get over Joe Chill, which sounds stupid or whatever, because no offense, I feel like Joe killed Batman's parents, you know. And when you see that as a child, you know, you can try to forgive or move on or whatever, but you never forget or whatever. But for me is the fact that he killed Bruce's parents, which put him on the path to becoming Batman, and that is one of his reasonings of being Batman, to take away that thing because you want him to get over the pain of Joe killing his parents and let the Joker be that thing, makes absolutely no sense, and it takes a lot of character away from Bruce. I mean, I don't agree with him going to see Joe at the final moments of his life neither, because I feel like, okay, that's great, you know, the letters, you see the letters, but I don't know if it would be good or realistic as a human to always have a person where somebody do something really terrible to you that you go on their deathbed and be like, I forgive you. That's such a cliche thing to do in a lot of shows and movies and stuff like that, to kind of show, oh, I'm being the bigger man. No, sometimes anger happens. Sometimes you hold on to that pain or whatever, and especially when it comes to Batman, that seems like his driving force. But you know, the story was beautifully drawn, and I really thought we were going to get somewhere when we get to book 3. Just to kind of end up it going nowhere at the end makes absolutely kind of no sense. We kind of ended up back where we started, and kind of makes you wonder what was the whole point of us doing this entire story, you know. And again, I can't really blame, you know, Jeff Johns that much, because I know it was a plan that was supposed to happen but got delayed or whatever because of the whole after effects of Rebirth, the death of Rebirth, the whole Heroes in Crisis crap, the Doomsday Clock, and then Death Metal. So you got a whole lot of stuff going on all at the same time. But I just really wish we probably got this book a little bit sooner, and maybe make it a book 4 or something like that, that probably would have made it a little bit better. But that's what I think, because it just kind of felt like, okay, so we got answers, but not really answers. So it's basically really DC's trying to say that what we got in the Killing Joke is the official origins of the Joker, but we want to keep it mysterious, so we don't want you to think it's canon, but it really is canon. But it's up to your interpretation whether you want that to be the origin of Joker, the definite origin of the Joker. That's what it felt like to me. So I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling because I still kind of like okay, what was that? Like what was the whole point of the story? But again, it was a well done comic book. I will probably give it an 8 out of 10 because the artwork is so beautiful. But when you get to book 3, it just failed to stick that landing. That was the real issue for me, was like it just failed to stick that landing. But other than that, yeah, that was my little thoughts about Batman 3 Jokers and stuff like that. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, okay?